So this video concerns the idea of first person, second person and third person inquiry. In the Alchemist programme, we focus on first and second person work, but it doesn't rule out third person, and everything we do depends on doing really good first person work. Let's say a bit more about this model and about each one of the levels of inquiry. First person inquiry is at the root, if you like, the foundation of all action research and action inquiry. It's the principal source of rigour and quality. First person inquiry is about being rigorously curious about myself, my actions, my intent, my reasons, my theories, my perceptions, lenses and biases. The information is through me and by me, and a lot of it relates to my emotions, my thinking and my bodily reactions to things, and so on. A lot of the action research tools and techniques we use to aid reflection are great sources of insight for first person work. A basic approach here is to be filled with curiosity about our observations, about what we call the micro practices of everyday life. Be really interested in what we do and why we do it. Keep a journal. It's really important to keep some kind of diary, some kind of notebook, a bit like a lab notebook, so that you keep track of what's happened. Your free-fall writing, your sketches, your autobiographical writing. Otherwise, you will forget the feeling you had just before that meeting, the feeling you had when something unexpected happened and you noticed it and you noticed your response to it. In the hubbub of day-to-day life, we lose track of these things unless we write them down. It's fine to use technology for your notebook, to keep voice notes, to keep photographs, but do try some physical writing and physical drawing. It's useful. Non-verbal kinds of self-noticing, sketchbooks, sound files and so on are great. Anything that disrupts our patterns and causes us to stop and look and listen and observe ourselves differently and make sense of ourselves differently, all of that is valuable. We probably will notice as the work goes on that some of the stories we tell ourselves about what we do and why we do it simply don't stack up in the way we thought they did. The theories we have in use may not be the same as the theories we put out into the world as our espoused ideas. Our actions may not be the ones that best support our supposed purposes. As we notice this, as we see the mismatches between our espoused and practiced ideas, between our actions and our supposed purposes, we improve the work, and that is the point. Noticing ourselves with this level of rigour allows a new level of reflective criticality about our actions as leaders, and it lays the foundation for experimenting with different ways of being and acting. This rigour in first-person inquiry is the foundation of much of our personal creativity, whatever work we do, and will play a huge part right the way through our encounter with action inquiry. So first-person work is what we do on our own, by me, for me, and it can be with the help of others. Second-person inquiry, though, always involves collaboration. It always involves working with others on a subject of shared concern. That's what makes it second person. So, for example, a group of leaders in an organisation might inquire together about how genuine participation can come about. Or a doctor working with a cross-disciplinary team might inquire with others about how their shared practice can improve patient outcomes. The point is, it's people working together on a subject of shared concern. And it can range from quite informal work with groups of like-minded friends, including your learning group, to being quite large and formally constructed inquiry projects. At the heart, however, is always a group of people who've agreed to come together to explore an issue of mutual concern. And the work of designing inquiry questions, of holding the emerging inquiry process, of sharing and interpreting the observations and insights, all of this is done in a group as a collaborative inquiry, bearing in mind that beneath it rests your first person work so that you guard against your personal misuse and use of power, your personal biases, your personal reflections, and so on. First and second person inquiry go together, but they're not the same thing. Third person inquiry is a larger scale work, and it tends to work with a larger community, for example, a whole organisation, a town, and it may span different times, different locations, through which the participants may come to regard themselves as part of a social movement, even if they never all meet. So it will involve some kind of formal structure. It will probably involve teams of researchers working together using technology such as social media or art exhibitions or things like this. And it can be worked with whole systems, including organisations, towns and societies. For example, the Transition Town movement has some aspects of third-person inquiry about its work. So, all these levels of inquiry, first, second and third person, can play their part in what you do. But in the programme, in the workshops and in the PAGs, we're going to be much more concerned with developing your skills in first-person inquiry and helping you to develop really good second-person inquiry in the large group and in the PAG that will support your shared inquiry, your collaborative work with colleagues.